Good day, watchers! Welcome to another episode of Japan Used Watches. This series is about buying used watches here in Japan. And sometimes you get a good deal, and sometimes you don't. Which in this case, in today's video, I actually made a bad decision. So this is the SKX779, first generation of the Seiko Monster lineup, which has now grown with so many versions up to 4th generation, with a dedicated following of collectors because of the many color combinations that Seiko came out with. And that is also the reason why I am trying my first monster and see how it feels like. Maybe I will begin collecting this series from now on. We'll see. Anyway, I got this with a broken rubber strap and I know it has scratches. But I never expected it to be this bad. I did buy a new monster bracelet for it. So even though it is used, it did cost me about $300 in total, including the new replacement bracelet. I guess I did pay more for my bad or impulsive decision. Before we continue, just a reminder to please don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button below. It would help me a lot if I can get your support to continue doing watch videos. The Seiko Monster SKX779 first came out in the year 2000 and was made until 2012. I am really not sure what year this watch I have on hand came out, but if you know the answer, please let me know in the comments down below. With its bold stainless external unidirectional dive bezel, this was a very different alternative to the far more traditional SKX lineup. A closer look at the monster reveals shrouding around the upper and lower halves of the watch. Perhaps the shielding was added in an attempt to integrate some tuna traits at a lower price point. Whatever the motivation, this styling did manage to create a very different yet enduring diverse watch. There's little doubt that the bezels on the Seiko Monster comes up as uniquely different. On the other hand, I find the dial to be one of Seiko's best modern designs. There is something wonderfully simple about the business-like white printing of the logo and similar details. I'm also a large fan of the 3D Lume indices. The shapes are wonderfully simple for the most part, while the shield shape marker at 12 brings in just a bit of attitude. The white hands even work well. Their shapes foreshadow the designs that are rife throughout the Seiko Prospects collection today. Notice here how they've even started to take on a little aging. Everything is captured under a nearly flat hardlex crystal that sits below the concave bezel. Like the tuna models, the Seiko Monster SKX779 employs short lugs with a diameter of 42mm. The lug-to-lug comes in at a very wearable 48mm. And in contrast to a lot of other Seiko divers from the same period with their 22mm lugs, the Monster has a 20mm lug width. That's a great thing because monsters look good on all kinds of straps. Changing looks on this watch is made all the more simple with drilled lugs. The stainless steel bracelet that I got has plate-like links. It is not a bad bracelet, but it is thick and the links are somewhat longer than one might expect. The clasp is push button with a flip lock and links are affixed via pin and tube. So, let's see how it looks on my 16.5 cm wrist. That's a 6.5 inch. Well, that doesn't look bad. It actually looks good on my wrist size. One more thing, let's look at the Lume. Remember, this watch is almost 20 years old, so I'm not expecting much. Wow, that still could compete with Seiko's modern watches in terms of their Lume. This is definitely one of the things that Seiko is getting right. Amongst collectors, this Seiko Monster is a bit of a sleeper. There's little doubt that the orange version is more popular, but this black model has its fans as well. However, black just seemed like a more usable choice for my wrist. It fits my smaller wrist well and looks good in most situations, even if it isn't quite as much an all-rounder as the SKX779. Love it or hate it, there is no mistaking a watch like the Seiko Monster SKX779. It is a high-quality dive watch that ended its run before Seiko began upscaling its prospects collection. For fans, that luckily still translate into a great piece that's still available at a very, very approachable price. As I always like to point out, try one on for size, and if it doesn't work out, you can always sell it. For me, I think this is going to be a long search for more of this. It has begun to grow on me now. Now I need to get more variants of this. I hope you enjoyed the video. Keep watching, keep subscribed, and notified. And see you on the next video. Bye!